The WNBA Players Union just sent league owners a counter CBA proposal that's being called financially aggressive, some insiders even say unrealistic given the league's current economics. Here's the context: the CBA governs everything: salaries, revenue splits, benefits, free agency. And it's coming at a moment when the league is booming. Ratings, attendance, merch sales, sponsorships all up. So players are asking, if the league is growing, why aren't we growing with it? That's fair. That's basic labor logic. But here's the complication: growth and visibility isn't the same as long-term profitability. Owners say they're focused on sustainability, not just the current surge. So when players push for major revenue shifts, ownership sees risk. Players see leverage. That tension now has people whispering lockout. A lockout would mean no games, no paychecks, no season. Big question: is this strategic pressure to force change, or are both sides inching toward a fight that could damage the league at the worst possible moment?
I'm going to get to the new proposal in a second, but let me start here. I tried to get to this article earlier. Luckily, somebody did and put a cutout. The paywall for Sports Business Journal is ridiculous. I love the website, but once you run out of free articles, it's like, what? How much a year? You got to be kidding me. I'm not paying that. But this was a snippet from this about the players' division inside the players' union. The sense, according to sources, is that there is still not enough player dissent to revive or fast-track a new strike authorization vote. Back in December, the union had sent out a survey to every player asking if they would allow the union's executive committee to call a strike if they deemed necessary. Of the 93% of players who responded, 98% provided authorization. Although sources said the number would not be at 98% now, there is still a clear majority. I'd love to know what that number is. Is it 70-30? Do they still consider 60-40 a clear majority? I mean, it is a majority, but it's not a great majority. And there is a definable opposition. The union will operate for the consensus. So even if 34% of players, 34 out of 100, are like, nah, it's a terrible look if we decide to strike and we need to go play the season, the players union is going to, well, do the wrong thing. And, I mean, what else can they do? If the players are dumb enough, and judging by this, I'm wrapping this all around into a nice little bow of judging by the new offer, they are this dumb.
Money, because that's what this really comes down to. There's a growing narrative online that the WNBA is suddenly overflowing with cash. Expansion headlines grab attention. Franchise valuations are climbing. TV ratings have jumped significantly compared to past seasons. On paper, everything looks like it's trending up. But revenue growth and profitability are two different things. Expansion fees are one-time payments. They create buzz, but they don't represent recurring annual income. TV contracts have improved, yes, but they still operate on a very different scale compared to established men's leagues. The gap remains substantial. And operating a professional sports league is expensive. Travel logistics, arena leases, marketing campaigns, staff salaries, insurance, broadcast production, community programs, player benefits. Those numbers add up fast, and they don't wait for growth to catch up. From the player's perspective, though, it's simple: if valuations are rising and the league is more valuable than ever, why shouldn't player compensation reflect that? It's a fair argument. Players are the product. Stars drive ratings. Personalities fuel storylines. The visibility spike didn't happen in a vacuum, it happened because fans connected with the talent on the floor. But owners may be thinking longer term. They might be asking, is this growth sustainable? Is this spike temporary? Are we building infrastructure that supports higher guaranteed payouts, or are we reacting emotionally to a hot cycle? When urgency meets caution, negotiations get tense. Both sides believe they're protecting the future. And once public messaging and pride enter the conversation, compromise
Housing,
gets much harder.
there was a tiny little reduction in revenue share there. They actually went slightly backwards. Slightly, it wasn't enough to make a huge dent in the salary cap, yada, 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 but they sure as fuck didn't go forwards or even serve. And the players are dropping their proposals, but they're not doing it substantially at all. Alexa Philippou broke this late last night. The Women's National Basketball Players Association submitted a new counterproposal to the WNBA on Friday evenings. Once again, another Friday evening counterproposal. I contend that they always do this because they don't want to get publicly dragged during the work week while everybody's at work and checking social media and can chime in. So they slip this crap out late on a Friday night to minimize blowback. Luckily, I'm on the scene. I got you. I got your blowback for you. With some concessions on revenue sharing and housing. Is that what we're calling this? A concession? Really? A source familiar with collective bargaining negotiations told ESPN in the new CBA proposal, the players union is asking for players to receive
Let's be clear about something.
26% of gross revenue.
A lockout right now would be devastating. The league is finally in a mainstream conversation window. Sports debate shows are discussing it regularly. New fans are tuning in for the first time. Corporate sponsors are analyzing engagement metrics. Momentum like this is incredibly fragile. If games stop because negotiations break down, the immediate damage wouldn't just be financial, it would be psychological. Casual fans drift away. Sponsors hesitate. Media coverage shifts from excitement to dysfunction. Instead of headlines about growth, you get headlines about labor conflict. And that shift matters. We've seen it in other professional leagues before. Labor disputes stall momentum. They cool excitement. And once that excitement fades, it's extremely difficult to reignite at the same level. Now here's the harsh reality. Owners might be prepared for a standoff. Ownership groups typically have diversified revenue streams and capital buffers. They can sometimes absorb short-term losses to protect long-term structure. Players, on the other hand, operate on contract timelines. Careers are shorter. Prime years matter. That creates asymmetrical pressure. And when one side believes time is on their side and the other believes urgency is necessary, that's when negotiations become a war of endurance. Not popularity.
Paid from a revenue share for the first time. And by the way, that payment, you can tell, changed some attitudes over there. That's why you're hearing about an actual split. Because people are like, oh, wait a minute. We did just get paid something extra. Finally. Is the plan actually finally working? Now that we're making money. They did pay us after they said they would if they ever made enough money. A change that a source said amounts to nearly $100 million in reductions on revenue share. Yeah, but the WNBA has told you we'll lose $700 million. I mean, come on. The new proposal also contains tweaks to the union's housing offerings. Are we back on this housing thing again? You can't pay for your own apartment? Previously, the players asked the teams to continue to provide housing to players in the first several years of the new deal, but that in later years, teams no longer be obligated to provide it for players making at least 80% of maximum salary on multi-year deals and receiving full salary protection. In the new proposal, the union struck the multi-year component and lowered the salary threshold to 75%, at which players would no longer be obligated to receive team-provided housing. God, they don't realize how publicly awful. I mean, the public perception of them needing their housing paid, like this is welfare, that's a terrible
Who
look.
has the real leverage?
I mean,
At this point, this is a leverage battle. Players have momentum, cultural relevance, public sympathy, star power that is driving viewership in real time. Owners have operational control, contractual authority, financial infrastructure, long-term planning power. So who blinks first? That's the chess match. If players push too aggressively and ownership digs in, a lockout becomes more likely. If owners underestimate the current cultural wave and dismiss player leverage, they risk alienating both fans and future talent. The most likely outcome? A deal will happen. But it won't look like what either side initially demanded. That's how collective bargaining works. Both sides start high. Both sides protect their positions publicly. And somewhere in the middle, compromise happens quietly. The real danger isn't disagreement. It's miscalculation. If either side mistakes online noise for actual leverage, if either side believes momentum guarantees victory, they could push too far. And once momentum disappears, you can't negotiate it back. So now we wait. Is this the beginning of a transformative agreement that reshapes the league's future? Or are we witnessing the early stages of a standoff that could slow down the very growth everyone claims to protect? One thing is certain. The next move matters. And whoever blinks first could define the future of the league for years to come.
So basically, the owners are offering a hair under 15% of gross revenue. Okay? So now we got that cleared up. The 2026 salary cap would come in at $5.65 million, up to $1.5 million in 2025. Or it's got to be 2026, right? In subsequent years, it would grow in line with the revenue growth. And we all know what that looks like. I am not going through that. Yeah, it's, I mean,